304 Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, the Messenger of Allah, was going to the Eid al-Adha or Eid al-Fitr prayer. He passed by the women and said, O women! Continue to give your charity, for I have seen that you are the majority of the people of hell. They asked, What is the reason, O Messenger of Allah? He said, You curse a lot and are ungrateful to your husbands. I have never seen anyone more skilled than you in deceiving a prudent person, despite their shortcomings in their intellect and religion. They said, What is the deficiency in our religion and intellect, O Messenger of Allah? He said, Is not the testimony of a woman half that of a man? They said, Yes. He said, This is the deficiency in their intellect. And do they not refrain from prayer and fasting during their menstruation? They said, Yes. He said, This is the defect of their religion. 305 Narrated Aisha, we set out with the Messenger of Allah, for Hajj. When we reached a place called Sarif, I began to menstruate. At that time, the Prophet came and saw me crying and asked, Why are you crying? I said, By Allah, it is preferable for me not to perform Hajj this year. He said, Perhaps you are menstruating. I said, Yes. He said, This is what Allah has ordained for the daughters of Adam. Do all the things that other pilgrims do until you are pure, except do not circumambulate the Kaaba. 306 Narrated Aisha, R.A. She said, Fatima bint Abu Habaysh, R.A., asked the Messenger of Allah, O Messenger of Allah, I am never pure, so should I leave the prayer? The Messenger of Allah said, This is a special type of blood, not menstrual blood. When your period begins, leave the prayer. And when your period ends, wash the blood and pray. 307 Narrated Asma bint Abu Bakr, R.A. She said, A woman asked the Messenger of Allah, O Messenger of Allah, what should one do if menstrual blood gets on one of our clothes? The Messenger of Allah said, If menstrual blood gets on one of your clothes, then he should rub it and then wash it with water and pray in that cloth. 308 Narrated Aisha, R.A. She said, When one of us menstruated, after becoming pure, she would rub off the blood, wash her clothes with water, and pray in that cloth. 309 Narrated Aisha, R.A. She said, One of the wives of the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, used to observe itikaf with him while he was in a state of istihada. She would see blood and would often place a vessel under her because of her discharge. The narrator said, Aisha, R.A., saw yellow water and said, This is like the blood of so-and-so's wife during her istihada. 310 Narrated Aisha, R.A. She said, One of the wives of the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, used to observe itikaf with him while he was in a state of istihada. She would see blood and yellow water coming out and would place a vessel under her and pray in that state. 311 Narrated Aisha, R.A. One of the Mu'minin performed itikaf while menstruating. 312 Narrated Aisha, R.A. She said, None of us had more than one piece of clothing. She would use the same piece of clothing even when she was menstruating, and if there was blood on it, she would wet it with her spit and scratch it with her nails. 313 Narrated Atiyah, R.A. She said, We were forbidden to mourn for a deceased person for more than 3 days. However, in the case of a husband, we were permitted to mourn for 4 months and 10 days. We did not apply antimony, perfume, or wear any colored clothing except for colored clothes made in Yemen. However, it was permissible to use a piece of cloth mixed with the fragrance of asfar for ghusl after menstruating. And we were forbidden to follow the funeral procession. This narration was narrated by Hisham ibn al-Hassan, may Allah be pleased with him, from Hafsa, may Allah be pleased with her, from Atiyah, may Allah be pleased with her, from the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. 314 It was narrated from Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her. A woman asked the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, about ghusl during menstruation. He told her the rules of ghusl, Purify yourself with a piece of musk. The woman said, How do I purify myself? The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, Purify yourself with it. The woman said, The third time how? The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, Subhanallah. Purify yourself with it. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, said, I brought her to me and said, Wipe the blood with it. 315 narrated Aisha, an Ansar woman asked the Messenger of Allah, How should I perform ghusl during menstruation? The Messenger of Allah said, Take a piece of musk and wash it 3 times. The Prophet then turned away out of shyness and said, Purify yourself with it. Aisha, said, I pulled her towards me. Then I explained to her the meaning of the words of the Prophet. 316. Narrated Aisha, I entered Ihram for the farewell Hajj with the Messenger of Allah. I was one of those who intended to perform tamatar and did not take a sacrificial animal with me. She said, her menses began and she did not become pure until the night of Arafah. Aisha said, I said, O Messenger of Allah, today is the night of Arafah, and I have intended to perform Umrah along with Hajj. The Messenger of Allah said to her, Untie your braids, comb your hair and refrain from performing Umrah. I did so. After completing Hajj, the Messenger of Allah ordered Abdur to perform Umrah on the night of Al-Hasba. He made me perform Umrah from Tan'im, from where I had assumed Ihram for Umrah. 317 narrated Aisha, we set out when the crescent of Dhul Hijjah approached. The Messenger of Allah said, Whoever wishes to perform Umrah may do so, because if I had not brought a sacrificial animal, I would have assumed Ihram for Umrah. Then some entered Ihram for Umrah and some entered Ihram for Hajj. I was among those who entered Ihram for Umrah. On the day of Arafah, I was menstruating. I mentioned my difficulty to the Prophet. He said, Leave off your Umrah, undo your braids and comb your hair, and enter Ihram for Hajj. So I did so. On the night of our stay at Hasba, the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, sent my brother Abdur Rahman ibn Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, with me. I went out towards 10 a.m. There I entered into Ihram instead of the previous Umrah. Hisham, may Allah be pleased with him, said, No sacrifice, fasting or charity was due for these reasons. 318 It was narrated from Anas ibn Malik, may Allah be pleased with him, that the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, Allah has appointed an angel over the womb. She says, In turn, O Lord. Now it is in the form of semen. O Lord. Now it has become a clot of blood. O Lord. Now it has become a lump of flesh. Then when Allah wants to complete his creation, he asks, male or female? Lucky or wretched? What is the provision and age? The Messenger of Allah said, It was written while he was still in his mother's womb. 319 narrated Aisha, we went out with the Messenger of Allah, on the farewell pilgrimage. Some of us had entered Ihram for Umrah and some had entered Ihram for Hajj. When we reached Makkah, the Messenger of Allah said, Whoever has entered Ihram for Umrah but has not brought a sacrificial animal, let him take off his Ihram. And whoever has entered Ihram for Umrah and has brought a sacrificial animal, let him not take off his Ihram until he has offered his sacrifice. And whoever has entered Ihram for Hajj, let him complete his Hajj. Aisha said, Then my menses began and continued on the day of Arafah. I had entered Ihram for Umrah only. The Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, ordered me to undo my braids, comb my hair, and put on the Ihram for Hajj, leaving the Ihram for Umrah. I did so. Then I completed Hajj. Then he sent Abdur Rahman ibn Abi Bakr with me. He ordered me to perform Umrah in place of the Umrah I had abandoned before Tan'im. 320 It was narrated from Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, that she said, Fatima bint Abi Hubaysh, may Allah be pleased with her, used to have istihada. She asked the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, about it. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, this is the blood of the veins, not the blood of menstruation. So when menstruation begins, she should leave the prayer. And when menstruation ends, she should take a bath and pray. 321 It was narrated from Muadh, may Allah be pleased with him, a woman said to Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, is it permissible for us to offer the missed prayers of menstruation after we have become pure? Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, are you a Haruraya? A group of Kharijites, one we used to menstruate during the time of the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, but he would not order us to make up the prayers. Or he Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, we would not make them up. 321. It was narrated from Muadh, may Allah be pleased with her, a woman said to Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, is it permissible for us to offer the missed prayers of menstruation after we have become pure? Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, are you a Haruraya? A group of Kharijites, one we used to menstruate during the time of the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, but he would not order us to make up prayers. Or he Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, said, we would not make up prayers. 322. It was narrated from Salama, may Allah be pleased with her, that she said, I started menstruating while I was lying under the same sheet as the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. So I went out secretly and put on my menstruating clothes. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, asked me, have I menstruated? I said, yes. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, called me and put me under his sheet. The narrator Zainab, may Allah be pleased with her, said, Salama, may Allah be pleased with her, also told me that the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, used to kiss her while he was fasting. Salama, may Allah be pleased with her, also said the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and I used to perform ghusl for janabat with water from the same vessel.